Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and the free and open source application Krita just got an update. Krita 5.2 was just released. Now, if you've never heard of Krita before, it is a professional quality, free and open source painting application, great for things like concept artists, natural media, painting, texture creation, and so on. So if you are an artist and you've never checked out Krita before, I'd highly recommend it. So again, 5.2 was just released. Krita is available for a variety of different platforms, including Linux, macOS, Windows, as well as Android, which is very interesting. We actually got some improvements for Android itself in this release, just general UI things. It's kind of a topic you're going to find in general for this release. There's a lot of things, so they focused on tackling some of the biggest pain points in Krita, so it contains a lot of background work that they're going to build on for future improvements, but there's also a number of new features in there as well. So first, a quick hands-on with Krita. This is Krita. Welcome to it. One thing you're going to notice right away, the launch screen, the thumbnails for images have definitely gotten bigger. Head on over here. Let's open this one up, and I'm going to showcase a couple of the new features. One thing you're going to see right away is we now have this guy right here. This is available as a Docker, so you're going to see it available in settings, Dockers, wide gamut color selector. So this is ultimately going to be a new color selector. So here is the existing one, the advanced color selector. This is a replacement for it, except for instead of the sRGB colors limitations, this is going to be able to do a wide gamut, and thus the name, of colors available as well. You got a number of options for controlling it. You got a number of different selection shapes available right here. You have the configuration options here with a number of options in there as well. You can control dynamic static here, obviously the color scales you wish to work with. You do have, again, a variety of options for shapes and sizes that you wish to work with. You have configuration settings over everything that's available there, and most importantly, this is available for doing a wide gamut of colors as opposed to, again, the sRGB limitation. So once this guy is fully up to compatibility with this guy over here, it will replace the advanced color selector. Another thing that we've got going on, and this one is probably the one that's going to impact the most lives, is the new, so if you go into the fill tools and we go to the tool options, you're going to find there are new fill options here that are very useful. So we got things here, fill regions similar in color, and then fill up to a boundary color, which you could then select over here. So you can use this for doing quick filling in your world. So for example, this background here, I'm going to change it to a dark purple. We can have it set there. So you got these new options available on your fill tools. And the cool thing is here, if you go to your continuous selection tool, they are available there as well. So you can fill to a boundary color, and you can set the threshold for matching that available here. And you can also fill to a similar color to region click. So I can see there, selecting the color regions like so. So those new color selections are definitely going to be useful to many people. Now, there is another feature here that unfortunately I can't show you. There's all kinds of new text tools. I don't know if this is a user error thing or if it's just not working right, but the text tools are just not working for me right now, which is a shame because there's a bunch of new layout options there. Though what is here is we do now have this, we have this wraparound mode. So this is great if you're doing like seamless texture painting, for example, and you want to go from one edge to the next and blend it seamlessly. That is what this wraparound tool is all about. Well, the cool thing here is with it now, you also have the ability to do it in different directions. So there's horizontal and there is a vertical. So some really nice new features in this particular release. Let's head on back to the release notes here and do a quick run through what else is included. So again, this was all about building for future improvements, a lot of things along those lines. One area that did get improvements was synchronization of audio. They used a new library now called MLT, which is what's used by Kdenlive for doing its frame-by-frame audio synchronization. So if you're synchronized audio with your animation, this new library should help you. On the topic of animation, they also switched up the way they work with FFmpeg. Now, it used to be that you had to download FFmpeg yourself and say, it's over here. Now you don't have to do that. It's actually including a version of FFmpeg out of the box. So it should have support for every free and open container and codec under the sun. You may have to still install some additional codecs if you're working on some of the weirder stuff, but that should make it a lot easier to work with. So you got, again, the FFmpeg is now embedded. No more need to require to point to people. There is this caveat, though, if you are working on Android, due to the restrictions of the platform, it's not currently working. They're looking at fixing it. Now, this is the area I found most exciting and unfortunately just didn't work for me, but there's a bunch of new text features. So they completely rewrote the text layout engine. Let me know in the comments down below if it works for you. I just get a red pixel. I don't know what's going on here. Again, it might be a user error thing, but you see here, you've got a number of different options for the layout. Text in shape, text on path, and color font support. There's more to it as well. And then you see right here, you actually have emoji support now in text as well. So the new text layout, we can handle everything the old text engine could, as well as text on path, vertical text, wrap text, and text in shape. I have access to the open type features as well as being able to render emojis, which is very cool. So a bunch of improvements in the text side of things. You do need to use the SVG code editor for it now. The tools, the text tools have not been updated. They're working on new ones for 5.3. So maybe when that 5.3 release is in, I'll be able to use checkout and demonstrate the text tools to you in the next release. And again, let me know in the comments down below if you don't have any problems with them. I did. I'm on Windows, by the way, so maybe it's a platform-specific thing. I am not sure, but that's the only bug I think I've encountered so far. And again, it might be user error. We've got a number of improvements as well. The undo system was updated, so you got ability to merge undos, useful for painting with multiple strokes. Ability to anti-alias the result of the sketch brush, and the ability to transform all selected layers at once when using the transform tool. That's actually pretty cool. I showed you the new the fill tool. When you merge those words together, you get fool. Fill tool and selection tool changes there as well. So in addition to both fill tool and the enclosed fill tool have gained stop growing at the darkest and or most opaque pixels and fill all regions until a specified boundary color, as well as a toggle to use the same blending modes as brush tools. Then we got a number of new shortcuts, including the toggle eraser, sample screen color, which I think is what they're, oh, so that's the select layers menu being shown right here. Select layers from menu. There is a Clip Paint Studio compatibility shortcut scheme in there as well. And Krita can now detect conflicts in Canvas input settings. We do have that new Docker, so it showed you the wide gamut color selector. This is allowing you to do selecting colors in a wide gamut instead of just sRGB. And eventually this will replace the advanced color selector once it is all 100% compatible and working and everything like that. We've got some UI improvements on Android, so selecting a multi-layers can be tricky, so there's extra checkboxes beside the layers on Android. You have extra information about layer opacity and blending available. Brush preset Docker looks good in horizontal mode now. Brush preset history is now configurable, and undo and redo now work on the palette Docker. Number of improvements for file support, including JPEG XL improvements, WebP improvements, WebP compression improvements, and so on. Down here, got a couple of others, improvements to EXR and RAW handling, as well as the WebP exporter support. And adding animation support to WebP. And then we have some various other updates. I showed you this one in action, so we now have the wraparound mode. You can now wrap around in both directions, which is nice. We have the ability to remove single document entries, improved tablet tester, which now has tilt data access, implemented easier location selection for Android, made sure that Krita resets document metadata when using a template, a significant amount of time on getting better display names or color profiles, cleaning up the UI left and right, so a number of UI fixes across the board, and Lambert shading blending mode. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Krita 5.2. It's definitely an interesting release. I really wish I could get the text stuff to go, because that kind of thing, text layout, is something that a lot of people have to work on, and it's always a pain in the arse. So better text tools are always nice. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work, but the new selection tools are definitely nice. Animation syncing tools, the inclusion of FFmpeg. There's quite a bit in this release, but let me know what you think. Have you checked out Krita before? If you haven't, by the way, it is available at krita.org. And yeah, let me know what you think of this release. Comments down below. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.